Hey everybody, I'm Rick.
And I'm Matt.
And welcome to Talking Habs, where you get your daily fix of Blue Blanc Rouge.
Going on, everyone?
All right, so we're here just waiting on Scotian Canadien. We had a time mix-up, my fault. He'll be here any minute. And we are here to talk about the coaching change, the firing of Coach Ducharme, and the hiring of first-time coach, zero experience, Marty St. Louis, the legendary Marty St. Louis, Hockey Hall of Famer, a great hockey player, and from all accounts, from people who know him, one of the great hockey minds that are around right now. So I'm really looking forward to seeing, what he's going to bring to the team over the next few years. I'm not expecting loads of, right now, immediately, but I think in the long term, this is going to be a really good hire. So we're going to talk about that. I've got a bunch of questions. And
go to Habs Guru.
I'll get to the who's here. Let's get to who's here. All right, so we got Habs Guru. Hey, buddy. Eric, how's it going? So let's see, 8 people in the room. Anyways, more people will show up as we wait on Scotian. He said he won't be long, so it won't be too long. Like I said, it was a time. I thought it was still an hour and a half difference over there. It's only an hour, and so it's my fault. Hey, Dixon, how's it going?
What's going on, Dixon?
Who's back?
Going on, Eric?
Who's back? I'm not sure. Hey, Hawko.
He might be talking about me. I don't think he's been in. I haven't seen him in a while. What's up, Hawko?
Who's here last game? No moves today. Well, this was a question I was going to ask everybody, and when Matt got
Scandinavian.
Here, were you expecting a goalie trade today? I was. Didn't happen.
At least that, or maybe like take a gander at the waiver wire or something. Because we're hurting bad.
So I was kind of wondering, like, what the hell they're going to do this weekend? It's back-to-back games tomorrow, Saturday. Apparently, Monty is hurt. He's not 100%. Primo, you can't throw Primo back in there, man. So I didn't even see that they called up McNiven. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know. It's bizarre. But I was out most of the afternoon, and I was expecting when I got home that I would hear there's a trade. And, that they acquired a goalie, and they haven't, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't do anything but feel for the kid. I mean, at the rate Primo's going, he's going to have PTSD at the end of this season. I mean, it's just been bad.
Well, listen, Primo has got to go back to Laval. I mean, that's just they got to find a goalie.
It's blatantly obvious he's not ready.
I was expecting. Hey, got our special guest. So everybody, say hi to our special guest.
There he is.
Our very special guest, Matt. So I got to do this.
Hey, that's
real quick.
my name.
I got to do this real quick. I wanted to say hi to my co-host Matt and my other co-host Matt.
Right on. Nice to meet you, Matt.
I just
you too, brother.
Does anybody get that reference? Because nobody has yet. No? Don't get that reference? No? Newhart back in the day? I know I'm old. My brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl? No one ever heard that?
No.
Oh my God, I'm freaking old.
No, wait, what's that from? What's it from?
Newhart. One of Bob Newhart's series.
Oh, geez, no.
Yeah, I know. I'm too old. Yeah. All right. So we're here to talk. By the way, hey, Matt, how you doing?
Good. I'm managing. I think I'm coming out of the worst of the whole fucking coronavirus stuff, so we're good to go.
So Matt has COVID. How long you had it for?
Probably since like last Sunday.
Okay.
Something like that.
So you should be out of the worst of it, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So, hey, thank God for the vaccines, man.
Seriously, like it's the weirdest. I don't know. Have you guys had it?
Nope.
I have not.
It feels like eventually you probably will. It feels fucking weird. Like luckily I had mild symptoms, but like you can tell that like fuck, if I wasn't vaccinated, this shit would have been miserable.
Yeah, well, that's what you. That's what you hear. But hey, Let's honk for it. Yeah. Anyway, I don't like getting into that. We've had some discussions here that didn't go well. So let's see who else is here before we get to it. So, hey, Andrew, Dr. Wiley. Let's see what I didn't say hi to. Julie. Hey, Julie, how's it going? I think I covered everybody now. I'm going to remind everybody, by the way, before I forget, Sunday is the next giveaway. So don't forget, first period, first intermission on Sunday. Giving the hat, just like that away. And then there's going to be this one. I just bought this one for a giveaway. It's a really nice hat.
Oh, that's nice.
It's a trucker's hat. I'm more of a baseball hat cap kind of guy, you know. So I bought it for myself, but I thought if I don't like it, it's going in the giveaway. But it's a really nice hat, and it's kind of unique in that it's a discontinued thing, and I got the last one. I wanted to get two, couldn't get two. So that's, you know, it's kind of unique. All right, so we're going to talk about the coaching change. First question, I want to ask both of you guys. I think I know what Matt has to say about this, but for everybody, how surprised were you when the news came around that they fired Dom? Were you expecting it, sort of? Because I was that day.
You know what? I still wasn't expecting it. I think I just kind of like trusted the word of Gordon when he came in and said he wasn't gonna fire him. So I was like, I don't know. I just wasn't expecting it. But at the same time, I mean, Jesus Christ, you can't lose like that. And then, you know, it was what it was. I think someone put it to me very good on Twitter that it was inevitable because he was Bergevin's coach, and it was going to happen whether it was now or in the summer.
And Gordon said in the conference, St. Louis, he said they had decided already he wasn't coming back next season.
Yeah.
So, and I had said too, my thing was the 29th of April was the last game and end of the season. 30th, he's getting fired.
Yeah.
I mean, it was inevitable. And you know, at this point, and I think they said it without really saying it, he was hurting the development of the kids and the value of the guys that they're planning to trade out.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of their decision in doing this now, I think. I mean, he said it pretty much, Gordon. So, yeah. So, Matt, you didn't answer. How surprised were you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was with you. I kind of figured, you know, right after the season ended, he was gone. I didn't think it would happen this soon. But, you know, I can't say I'm shocked that he's gone. It's with the way things were going, and, you know, I mean, it made sense. Hopefully it doesn't. I mean, obviously it's not going to take us out of the top 10, but I like to stay kind of where we are in the tables just so we can secure that top 3 pick.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I hope that doesn't change. I mean, are you worried about that, Matt, that now? I mean, I don't think they can play their way out of the bottom 10 anyway, so.
I don't think they can play themselves out of the bottom 2. No offense.
Maybe that, but not the bottom 5 even. I don't see how they do that.
No, it's
I'm not worried about
there's going to be a lot of games like last night. We'll probably see maybe some scores that are you know, not closer. As bad. Yeah, closer scores, not blowouts, but we're going to see a lot of losses.
Yeah, but better play, like more exciting to watch. So at least as a fan watching, you're not going to be like, oh, well, you know, that's how I was. Like, I'm just going through the motions, basically. Now I'm excited at least that the play will be better. I'll see better hockey. You know?
Oh, yeah.
I just put up a tweet there. There was a really good clip. I saw someone post up on Twitter there, so I retweeted it and put a little comment. I said, if I had any clue that Martin St. Louis as coach was even a remote possibility, I'd have occupied the Bell Center parking garage entrance with my Elantra until Dom was fired. Like, because they definitely nailed it with the Martin St. Louis coach. I get the reservations about the lacking experience, but he's going to work out, I think.
And listen, where's he going to get experience? I mean, okay, I guess he could have worked his way up, but I mean, this is a legendary player. He's a Hall of Famer. Everything I've read about him from other players that obviously know him, from Tortorella, said he's one of the, if not the most, one of the most brilliant hockey minds today. That's saying a lot. Now, maybe that's a little overblown a little bit, but I mean, still, there's a long way. It can be overblown a lot, and still it's good. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I kind of liked it when I heard it, and then when I watched the press conference, I was like, I'm sold on this guy. Yeah, I like what I heard there. Okay, let's get to. By the way, for the audience, we'll get to some of your stuff. Just we're gonna do a couple of things. I'll get to you guys, and we'll move around. Here's a good question about Dom. We'll do a couple things about Dom that I wrote down here. Do you think he got a fair chance here? Gordon said they could have done a little more. They were asked. Could management have? Did they do all they could? And do you think there was a reason that if they didn't, there was a reason why? Maybe. Who wants to go first?
You go ahead, Matt.
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, we could tell just watching the games. I mean, the players weren't there; they weren't with it, and I get. We actually got to see them compete in a cup final last year, which was awesome. I mean, we can all say that was awesome. But
yeah,
I just think, dude, the way things were heading, I think just for morale reasons, I think Dom had to go. And I think it was kind of bringing everybody down, and for whatever reason, things weren't clicking, and things happened the way that they did.
But did management do all they could to help him out?
I mean, I don't know what else they could have done. It's not like they could have brought in new players. Yeah,
well, goalie would have helped.
Goalie would have helped, but I mean, it's like, what else can you? It's a sinking ship. Like, what can you?
True.
You could patch the hull, but at the end of the day, it's going to end up in the bottom of the ocean. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So,
now,
yeah.
What do you got to add to that, Matt?
I agree there with you, Matt. I think that Gordon was asked that question. I think he just said it to kind of be nice. I don't think there really was much else they could have done to help him out. Now, that being said, like I whether or not he got a fair shake in Montreal, I don't know. Yes and no, but the big thing for me is that I still wholeheartedly believe that this season had little the way that this season has played out had little to do with Dom Ducharme, and he's become the poster boy of why it went awry. And it's just, you can point to fucking 50 things before you get to the coach that went wrong.
Oh yeah.
So I think and as much as I guess he did lose the room, but I'm not so sure if even that is really his fault. He just was dealt such a hard hand, and I think maybe just his inexperience as an NHL coach maybe held him back from being able to survive a season like this. Yeah. But he is a good coach, and he's going to be back in the NHL sooner rather than later, I think.
Paul Byron said I saw a quote from him today, or a statement he put out, and he totally backed Dom. Said they totally bought into him in the playoffs, and I mean, look how it went. And he just said he's a good man, and it's he doesn't really blame Dom for what happened. He blames actually the players. He says it's on us.
Yeah, and even Jeff Petrie, I've always loved Jeff Petrie. He's been underrated for so long, and I haven't been a fan of how he's handled this season in general. I think he's been fairly unprofessional, but at the same time, kind of don't blame him. These guys got so close to the cup. That's really hard for guys to deal with. I mean, you look at spit and chicklets, like Ryan Whitney brings it up all the time, how much it still stings him that he got that close and he never got to win a cup. So yeah. I think there's a lot of guys on the team that were just finding, their way through that depression. And, Weber was able to step away. Price was able to step away, but Petrie had to play. Yeah. And you know what? I think maybe what compounded it was that, it probably didn't help that it was a rookie coach trying to light a fire under Jeff Petrie's ass. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
It had maybe been Claude still trying to light a fire under Jeff. He made it. Maybe he'd be a little bit more receptive, but I hate to put blame on Dom because I really don't think, much of this was his fault. I get that the D-zone coverage and all that stuff was confusing, but you didn't see the guys complaining about it last year when they were, moseying their way to the cup final. So,
No, granted, but I mean, last year in the playoff, they didn't look like the Keystone Cops out there. Many a night. I mean, that's how I describe them, right? The Keystone Cops just running around like it's
I think
comedy almost.
Yeah, it's kind of a really strange position to be in, I think, though, like the way it worked out, because the way Bergevin built the team, it was goalie out and he wanted the defensive structure. And then in the offseason, you lose literally all your best defensive players and Price. So then you're a team that, like, you're built to play defensively, but now you can't even play that style, and you're absolutely not built to play offensively. So it's like, fuck, what do you do?
Right.
No, true. It was this was like the most snake bit weird season. I don't know. 104 seasons the Habs have been around, and this is the worst one. It's like that's saying a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's saying a lot. Okay, so since we all said that, now was he ready for the NHL, Dom, to be a coach? You think, or like Primo, needs to go back a little seasoning? Maybe that's. You think he was ready for this, or just the fact that so many bad things happen, and he's, like you said, a rookie coach? Is that the reason? Because there's so many people saying, he's not even a peewee coach and all that, which is ridiculous because he's been a winner before. Like, is he just not ready, or just everything just went against him? Like, I kind of think that's what it is. I don't think any coach, well, maybe a really seasoned coach could get through it, but I mean, how many coaches could have a winning record with what's happened with the team this year?
Yeah, so I would say absolutely. I would say he was ready. I think he accomplished absolutely everything you could in junior. Q champ, Mem Cup champ. Then he was World Junior coach for Canada for 2 years straight, which never happens. You don't see a World Junior coach for Canada twice in a row, and he did it, and then he won gold. So he accomplished everything he could in junior. Now I think he was ready for the NHL, but my assumption now, how it'll play out, like, look at Dallas Eakins. He went, he was considered one of the worst coaches ever in the NHL when he coached the Leafs, right?
Yeah.
And then he got fired, had a horrible reputation, went down to the AHL, and has now found his way back to the NHL. He's with the Ducks, and they are rolling, and he's looking good. So I would not be surprised to, maybe Dom goes and he becomes an assistant in the NHL, but I'm kind of thinking he might go the AHL route, become a head coach, and really, really hone his skills coaching men.
Yeah, and that would be, might take him a few years, but I mean, that I think would be his route back.
Yeah.
The NHL. Yeah, I agree. Matt, you didn't answer Matt too there. You think he was ready?
I mean, I definitely think he was ready for his shot. But yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I think he should, I think it'd be in his best interest to kind of, either like Matt said, be an assistant somewhere, go back to the AHL and really kind of hone his skill and figure out, what kind of coach he wants to be, and, build off that. Because once he can get confidence around that, then yeah, I mean, I agree. I think he could definitely be a good coach.
Okay. No, I agree. I agree with you guys there. Quick question, because but I'm curious what you guys would say. I think I know how Matt feels. Matt too. Would you have let Dom, if it were you, would you have let him finish the season?
Yeah, I would have. And I only, well, it's hard because, like, I love seeing Marty behind the bench for the Habs now. And, like, imagine if Dom finishes out the season and someone else hires Marty, you know what I mean? And we miss that opportunity. But I don't know. For me, like, I have a hard time with management going back on their word when they state something publicly. So I kind of, and I also, think you kind of have to put the onus on the players too. I mean, how many times is this team going to fire a coach?
Yeah, they do though.
So,
yeah.
But it's hard to say, especially now knowing how it's played out with Marty behind the bench. But I think I probably would have just let him play it out. I'm not supporter of the witch hunts that go on online, and I do think there was part of that played a role. I mean, everyone and their dog wanted Dom fired, and I think
true.
I think maybe it was market pressure kind of got to them a little bit too, as well as that brutal loss against New Jersey.
I have a take, though, on Gorton saying that, yes, he'd stay, because they asked him, right? And all he did was say yes. I feel, because I watched it, he was a little pressured into it. And I think he said yes just to get him to stop saying it.
Yeah.
I don't think he was, at that point, I don't think he was 100% committed to Dom. But they kept pressuring him, and I don't think he wanted to get into that. He probably hadn't had a chance to really discuss it and talk to Dom, or even maybe 100% made up his mind. And I think he just said yes, just the same way when they tried to pressure him into saying when the GM would be announced.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was they pushed it, and he just said, okay, after Christmas. But it wasn't like it was going to be right after Christmas. He just said it because they pressured him. I feel it was the same way with Dom. So I'm not upset that they went back on their word. I think he was, like I said, pressured into saying that. I'm good with it. I think it came to the point where it had to be done. I mean, for the reasons of, I think Cole Caulfield was definitely affected by it. Suzuki's numbers, I think he was affecting the young players' development at this point. Whether it's really you want to blame him or it's because of the situation and everything, but it was affecting the young guys and the value. I mean, if you're going in a rebuild, a lot of these guys are getting moved. Yeah. If their value goes down.
And he wasn't able to figure out a way to get these guys motivated again.
Yeah.
And that's definitely something that kind of threw me off. Because at some point in the season, there had to have been a point where coaching and Dom himself kind of realigned the expectations for what they were doing and kind of take the pressure off his team a little bit. And, and it just didn't seem to go that way. So I can see that aspect too, especially with Gorton, his first presser in Montreal. But my thing is, I hope he learned from that. If the nerves got to him and he said, "Oh yeah, he's safe," you got to learn from that, because the Montreal media are ruthless, and they are gonna try and trick you up.
Yeah.
Every time you sit in front of the mic.
Yep. Yeah. Because the good stories are the controversy.
Yeah.
That's really what it's like, right? Matt, so the quick answer, I'll give a quick answer. Would you let Dom finish?
I would have just A, for the sake of the draft pick, and B, I mean, I don't know, let him finish out his final year, because like you said, I mean, April 29th, season's over, April 30th, out the door. If it wasn't now, it was going to be then.
Yeah, well, they had already made up their mind about that. He said that they were letting him go at the end of the season. You know what? I tell you, I was fully expecting, I would say fully. I was waiting all day while I was doing other, I think I was writing a video, but I was checking. I was expecting them to do it. So I think I would have, because of hurting the kid, like the reasons I said, the financial, affecting the value of the vets, and wasn't great for the kids at that point. He had lost the room at that point. Whether reluctantly by the players or not, he had lost them. And you can see it on the ice. These are guys that should know where to play. And they're nowhere near where they should be. Come on, these are veteran players. It's not like they don't really know where to be or in the area of it, right? They should be
where to pass the
ballpark.
puck.
So I kind of, I think, I might have done it too.
I think what kind of threw me was that, because I totally agree with you, Rick, but I think what threw me was Petrie, because he should have been the one leading the charge, and to see him have no motivation whatsoever, I just went oh man, if you want to shit on the coach, you got to at least fucking try, man.
Yeah.
No, but he had checked out. It's like he was already traded. Do you think he asked for the trade, or because it's confusing what happened? I'm not sure whether they asked him if, because he's got a no movement, I think. So they asked him if he'll move, or did he ask them? Because I don't know. I've heard both. Do you know anything about that?
No, I'm not sure. I mean, I would suspect maybe he mentioned he'd be okay with a deal out of Canada. You know what I mean? Especially with the context of the world we're living in, and he's an American, and he's away from his kids and his family and all the different. Yeah, and you're seeing how the states are operating, and I guarantee you there are a lot of hockey players that are like, Jesus Christ, I just want to go to a restaurant. Like, come on.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not for the protest, but I do agree we're over restricted here. There's no doubt. At least though, the good news is 4 more games and then it's 50% capacity, and I think 2 more after that, and then they go to 100.
Yeah, we're starting to see most provinces start announcing dates of when they're going to drop all restrictions. I think that's all you had to do. Just give us a date. Give us a date when it's all getting lifted. Like, come on.
Yeah, or starting to turn around or whatever. So yeah. I'll listen. I got my thoughts on it, and I think people would be surprised at all of them. But anyway, that's for another show. Okay, so that was Dom. Let's take a look at some of these people's questions here. I don't know where I'm probably way behind here. I don't know. I don't have any take on what they're talking about. You think Caulfield gets number 26 when Peter goes? Did you see that story? Caulfield wore 26 growing up because of Marty St. Louis. So I got a question. Let's go to a question on that. How much do you think? Wait, I wrote it down. Let me not go by off the top of my head. How much do you think Marty will help Caulfield? And does this mean Caulfield stays here to develop under Marty instead of going back?
Go ahead, Matt.
So, I think it helps tremendously. I mean, even, and I know it was only 1 game, but I mean, last night, to me, Caulfield looked like he got shot out of a damn cannon. He was flying up and down the ice. He just looked like he was having fun. And that grin on his face when he scored, that made me feel so happy. I was like, kid's going to be all right. Kid's going to be all right.
He scored 2, by the way.
He was enjoying it. He was working hard. I hope it continues.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's happy. I think it'll do wonders for him. I really do.
Does he stay here instead of go down to Laval though and develop under Marty?
Yeah, why not? I mean, we'll see how the next, couple games play out, but I mean, if he keeps up what he did last night, I don't see why he would send him down.
Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. Prior to Dom getting fired, I was all in the camp of sending him down. Because you know what, I didn't necessarily have an issue with how Dom was handling him. Because you know what, as much as Dom may have lost the room, I kind of have an issue with a rookie, taking a hard stance like that in the NHL. It's like, dude, what is he, 20, 21?
21.
Like, you're not running the show here. So if you're going to have this type of attitude, like, I can see why Dom was kind of trying to make him earn it a little bit. And I think that's why he wasn't seeing top 6 and good minutes in the NHL, because I feel like Dom didn't really want him in the NHL by this point, and it was kind of, his hand was forced because of COVID. Yeah. And I think he would have been in Laval had it not been for all that. And but now Marty's here, and I don't think Marty would have had to say anything to the team or to Cole or anything. Just his presence there, I think Cole would have been thinking, holy shit, Marty St. Louis is watching me play hockey. This is going to be one of my best games this season. Mm-hmm. So, add that to the speech he had earlier in the day. And so I'm totally fine with Cole staying up now, especially with the season where it's at. And it does seem like Marty's just going to let these guys figure it out, make mistakes, gain chemistry together. Yeah. So I'm totally game with it, as long as the effort's still there and he's still producing here and there. There's some consistency in his effort, especially if he's given those minutes. Yes. Because if it starts to wane again, dude, AHL. And that would be a huge statement, Marty sending Cole to the AHL, and I think he'd take it to heart. So
100%.
Yeah. So here, the next question actually goes along with that. What do you think of his what he said about concepts and systems? Because that kind of works with what he was saying there. Caulfield kind of gets opened up and freed as far as being creative and making those things. And that's what I saw on the 2 goals. By the way, he scored 2. I know 1 got called back, but he scored it. It didn't make a difference that he scored it and he beat the guy. And everyone say, well, it didn't count. But he scored it. It just in that it's important in that he broke free and he got 2. You know, Toffoli being offside, that didn't affect what he did. Anyway, yeah, it's just a thing with me. Yeah, what do you think about that concepts and systems thing?
Oh, it's music to my ears. Like I recall listening to Marty on Spit and Chicklets like 2 years ago, and it was just like a symphony. The way he talks hockey, I just love that. I don't know if you guys follow David St. Louis on Twitter. He works for Habs Eyes on the Prize. He does a really good job talking about, you know, deception and all that sort of stuff. I highly recommend. But Marty St. Louis, the way he talks about hockey, it reminds me the same way, you know, talking about reads and making the right decision with limited amount of time. I absolutely love it. And I think that, you know, he's going to do wonders for this team in that department. And I totally agree with that. I think systems are just, it's totally overrated. You want a general structure, but just so that you know where your teammates are going to be. But you know, the game is too fluid. It's way too fast in the modern era for you to be having a specific system every single game. You need to be able to read off of each other at all times and kind of go with the flow. You know, and if you're stuck in a system, there's no way you can go with the flow.
No, exactly. Now, he did say
100%.
It's for the best players. I imagine some of the other guys, they're going to be more stuck in what they need to do. But for the guys that can be creative, yeah, you got to let him free. Because I don't think he said like the whole team's going to be free, but he specifically said the best players. But those are the guys that are creative and they're out there doing. I mean, it's not the worst guys doing that. So, yeah. What did I question? He was asked. I know this was in French and I didn't catch it all, but he was asked about leadership, and I know he said something about there's more than one type of leader. Right? Because, you know, there's the guys that are vocal in the room. There's guys that show it out on the ice and blah, blah, blah. So what did you think of that? And do you think, because it made me think that Toffoli could be kept because of something like that. Toffoli is, you know, he might have 3-4 guys that he's going to want to keep around because of the different kind of leadership that they show. What do you think of that idea of mine?
Geez, I'm at such a crossroads with like a lot of the players that we have right now, because we have so many good players under contract, especially at forward.
Yeah.
And like, I would really like to see, you know, at least a couple of them stick around. Like, I don't want like, no offense to Mike Hoffman. I just, that signing never really made sense to me, you know, other than like trying to get the power play going this season.
Right.
Yeah. Other than that, like, I just didn't really understand that signing. So if we're, you know, looking at trading Toffoli, does that mean Hoffman's sticking around? I don't know. I'd much rather have Toffoli on the roster and kind of just, there's a reason why he's so coveted. And he was the most utilized forward in the playoffs, literally plays all positions. His skill is, you know, it's not, you know, Austin Matthews or anything like that, but he is just such a good player. He's in the middle of his prime, great contract. Like, the only way we should be looking to trade him is if someone just absolutely overpays, especially because of the way that he's talked about, like, wanting to come to Montreal and play with Suzuki. Like, that just doesn't happen. That does not happen.
True.
So, I'm with you. I'd love to just see Toffoli stay with this team. I mean, we have so many other pieces that are going to be moved out for future assets. I don't think there's a need to push Toffoli out the door.
Well, I'll be honest. I think I might have wrote a poem video about that, where I said, I think if you're looking for a first round pick and all that, at that time, you got to move him. When he said that stuff about leadership, and I instantly thought of Toffoli, and I said, Toffoli sounds like the kind of guy that I think Marty might want to keep around. That great contract, And if you're looking for that type of leader, apparently he's a really great leader in the room, talking with the guys, getting, motivating the guys. That's what I understand. He's a really good leader that way. I can see them maybe wanting to keep a couple of guys around that I didn't think they would because of that. And then that begs the question, Brendan Gallagher, what do you think? Hard contract to move, yet I don't think it will be in the summer because I think teams are going to want him. But what do you think now about, does he stay?
He's another one I'm at a crossroads at because I love that guy. Like, I love that guy. And the fact that he met with the media today, and the first thing he said, he's like, before any questions, and he literally he played the role of captain, and he gave Dom the credit he deserved, and he made sure that that everyone knew that we got to appreciate what Dom brought. So I just have so much respect for him. He bleeds, our colors. And but at the same time, it's like he's a guy that has to work at 110% to get 30 goals. So like how long is he going to be able to maintain playing at 110%? And he's one of our highest paid forwards. If not, isn't he the highest paid forward on the
He's
on
up
the
there,
team?
6.5. I don't know anybody making more than that. So
and I think
he is highest paid.
Yeah, I think we could get a lot for him in a trade, especially a team that's in win now mode, like right now in win now mode. And I think Gallagher would also appreciate that, going on some runs here with a really good team.
Yeah, he hasn't come out and he won't say either way. He won't, but
I
that's
know.
Gallagher. He'll be happy.
I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, he won't complain either way. I think that's what he's basically saying, Thing is now, 5 years at that money, I don't see that if they move on Gallagher, I don't see that being at the deadline.
No.
I don't. I don't see any of the longer term players except maybe Mike Hoffman, because it's only 2 years left, I think. I don't see any of them being able. Maybe Petrie, maybe because he might have asked for trade, maybe. But I don't see the guys with term really being able to move at the deadline. A year, okay. Guys got a year, that's nothing, right? But anyone with 2, 3, 4 years, I don't know if that's easy to move. So we'll see. I don't know where I was going with that, but
The other thing too, I kind of want to touch on with Gallagher is, and I don't know if you guys kind of noticed this, but for a top 6 guy, to me anyway, he looks like he's slow. Like it almost looks like the game is sped up more than he does. And I love the guy, as much as any of us as Habs fans, but I kind of see that and I go, maybe that's kind of holding back some of his line mates who really want to kind of push up and who might be faster than him. I don't know if you guys see that at all.
I can't say that. I mean, Toffoli's kind of slow, right? I don't really see that in Gallagher so much like that, or it hasn't really. I don't know. What do you think, Matt?
I kind of see what you mean, like the way that I don't know, maybe it's his stride or something like that.
I think that's what it is, the stride.
Yeah.
Stride. He's a north-south player, and he'll always be. He's literally just gonna fucking bomb it straight ahead and try and get some space. It's like the goal he scored in Game 7 against Jack Campbell, and it fucking pisses me off to this day that Jack Campbell had to sit in front of the cameras and cry and say, "Oh, it's my fault." That was a good shot, and good shooters score that goal. So that was not on Jack Campbell. Maybe you want to make that save, but that was a really good shot. He put all of his power into that shot and beat Jack Campbell because of his north-south game. He had all the momentum going straight ahead. And I don't know. It's just something about his play style. As much as I love it, it's like when you look at fucking Michael Bunting for the Leafs getting paid league minimum and essentially being Gallagher, like he's looking really good this year. I don't know. That might hinder us a little bit in being able to trade him, but I don't know. I'm just so I don't know what to do with Gally. I think he's one of the just like Jeff Petrie. I think he's a guy that you keep until someone gives you an offer you can't refuse.
For me, Galley reminds me so much of a Habs captain back in the 70s, like Yvon Cornway, who wasn't the best when he was captain, but man, there's nobody else that you want, like as far as determination and giving it all he's got. I mean, Yvon Cornway, that's what he was about, right? And I can see Galley staying here, being named captain, and you hang on. He might not be at his best, but he still motivates the guys, and guys want to follow him. I can see that out of Galley too, you know? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of like you. I don't know. I don't want to see him go, but kind of makes sense to move on that contract in a rebuild, which makes me think go to the next question. Is the rebuild still on with Marty St. Louis, or is it more of a retool? Can he get more out of these guys faster? And by keeping maybe a couple of veterans around that they might not have, and kind of banking on Carey Price making it back for next season, and maybe that's not such a big rebuild, and we're going to a heavy retool instead. What do you guys think?
Team's definitely better than what their record is this year, no doubt.
Yes.
I really think the cup hangover, lack of cup hangover, I should say.
Lack of off-season also, lack of time in between.
Yeah, and then the injuries and all that stuff has really held them back. I think you get this team, they desperately need a 5-month off season, desperately. They had the hardest end of the season last year out of any team in the NHL. Then they had the most grueling, cup run that I've seen a team, put together in years. Like the way that they battled was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then, because of it, you have like a month and a half off season, and then they're right back into the grind. This team desperately needs some time away to heal up, refresh their bodies, spend time with family, mentally reset. And I think they could come back extremely strong next year. Not a cup contender right out of the gate, nothing like that. But
right.
I don't know. It's another. I think that this new management team is not necessarily looking for a full rebuild, but maybe open to it, especially now that you're starting to see names like Dvorak in trade talks. So
I just noticed that today.
Yeah. So I'm a little, and it sucks, man. I'm really worried about Carey Price. I have this really horrible gut feeling. Yeah,
After
I have a
Ben
horrible
Bishop and Tuukka Rask, I'm worried.
Yeah.
I have a horrible gut feeling.
He is too. If you watch the press conference, Carey Price is worried about it too.
Yeah.
He does not know whether he will be back. He doesn't want to come out and say that from his mouth, but you can see in his answers, he's worried about whether he's able to come back or not.
You can see it in his body language too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have this horrible gut feeling that we've already seen him maybe play his last game. Maybe we'll get one more. Maybe he tries to come back like Rask and plays a couple, but it's hard to believe. Like, where did the time go that this guy's career might be over? And if that's kind of like the medical news that they have internally right now, I mean, I said from the get-go, like I was thinking that we could get away with another reset, but once you start talking about trading away Jeff Petrie and then possibly Price retiring and then Galley, we don't know what his future is. We're in full rebuild mode at this point. Luckily, we're a few steps ahead in full rebuild because of all the drafting we've done and all the picks we have already. But oh man,
the prospects in the pipeline. I mean, guys like Suzuki, guys like Caulfield. Like Caden Gooley, I think is going to be a stud when he's in the NHL.
Yeah.
So the young guys are there, and I think what we saw with Gorton with the Rangers. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to handle situations like this, and if anything that he did with the Rangers kind of shows us what he can do, he could have this team turned around in 3 years, maybe, possibly.
Oh yeah. The thing that relieves me the most about having Gorton on staff, looking to what he did with the Rangers, is how he quickly, Lundqvist retired, and all of a sudden they've got like 2 elite goaltending prospects. And look at Shesterkin right now, fucking like one of the best in the league. So I'm at least relieved about that because
he can judge talent. He's a good judge of talent. I agree with you that. My thought on Price, and I got to get my knee injury in. I've got a torn, well, not torn, but a tear in my ACL, MCL, both knees. My right one is pretty bad. So from how that feels, and all thanks, from how that feels, I can't imagine. Now, I'm not an athlete, but I can't see myself being able to walk without a cane, to go any kind of distance, even with walking my dog, till I get an operation and it's successful. Like I can't walk without the cane. Now he is a guy with his knee bending up and down, blah, blah, blah. And he just it's a different injury, but it's similar, right? It's the meniscus on him. Yeah, this could be tough for him to come back if he's struggling with it now.
And I was shocked that Seattle didn't pick him because
Now you know
I was shocked. So they must have seen something in the full disclosure that was like, okay, this guy's close to being done.
Yeah, it's iffy. It's really iffy, risky.
Yeah, because other than that, like that would have been a no-brainer pick for an expansion franchise. Jersey sales, the leadership, the ability to maybe win some games. Yeah. Something is up.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of the greatest goalies of all time. I mean, I mean, you can call me batshit for saying that, but I mean, let's be real here. If everything looks okay, how do you not take him? Like something had to be up.
It'd be too bad that if he doesn't get a cup, because I think he needs a cup to get into the Hall of Fame. I think he does.
He's in there regardless, I would say. I even say he's first ballot without the cup.
I hope so. I do. Yeah. I hope it's not a requirement, because otherwise he's not going to get in, because I don't know that he's going to get
Weber might be the one that doesn't get in, which is kind of shitty, but we'll see.
I agree with you there.
That's another injury. I mean, not having his presence as captain in the locker room, I mean, is like, I can't even imagine what the guys are going through. Because to me, I think Weber as captain was one of the best captains in the league. I think he showed it on the ice. I think he showed it in the room. I mean, and I look back to when, the Scheifele incident with Evans. I mean, if the referee wasn't there, I think Shea Weber would have literally bitten off Mark Scheifele's head. Like he was ready to do some damage. So I think, not having leadership like that, as we talked about in the locker room, is huge. And he's another guy that he's probably done. So
what's your opinion on that, Matt, about Weber? Do you think my feeling was that he's done, but I'm curious as to why that announcement hasn't happened yet, especially with all the talk about captain and all that. If he's done and he knows he's done, how come he hasn't retired yet? Or
I'm wondering if it's the same kind of situation as Price. He doesn't. Maybe he's in denial a little bit. Maybe he just doesn't want to call it. I don't want to say quits, because the guy would never quit. But it might be that. And I hope to God we get him into management. Like, please. Like, if it's like, I know the speculation flew all around about Vinny Lecavalier becoming AGM, and that seems to have kind of quieted. He wants to stay in Florida, so I'd more than welcome Vinny to come in and be a scout, like you just said. But if it's not Vinny as AGM, for the love of God, get Weber to sign on the dotted line and get him as AGM.
I hadn't thought of
that. Keep him in the organization.
Yeah, that's not a bad. I mean, that's considering how outside the box they're going and everything. It's not a bad idea. Right?
Yeah.
He's well respected. That's for damn sure, right? Without a
doubt.
And
he's hot. Just like Marty, the IQ, the thing that saved Weber, like despite his knees being gone and his foot being gone and his thumb being gone, incredible hockey mind. Incredible. Like he just reads the game so well. Like at an elite level that I've almost never seen before.
Well, maybe that's their plans for him. But it's still curious as to why, maybe I think it might have to do with the fact that, if he retires, their leverage of getting something out of Nashville goes away, right? Because then it's done. Right now, they have a bit of leverage to get something out of Nashville, because they're not letting him retire. They're going to want to get him so they can put him on their LTIR, because that's a pretty big cap. I don't know what the name.
Recapture, yeah, it's like if he retires now, it's like $5.5 million over the next 6 years.
Yeah, it's a big one. So you got to figure. Safe to say that if anything, they'll go. But they haven't made that move yet. So I'm kind of like, is he coming back? Is he not? Like, I'm confused. And it's silence. He's not talking about it. So, which you wouldn't expect him to do that. We're almost done with what I've got, but let's see. What did you? I just want to get your first reaction. We kind of talked about it, but when you heard, because the rumors were out there, it's going to be Marty St. Louis. It's going to be Marty St. Louis. When you heard that they hired him, what was your reaction, Matt? For Scotian first.
I think my first reaction was like, geez, like this is Montreal, and you're going to hire a guy who has no NHL coaching experience. I definitely was a little thrown by that, because just to how much pressure there is and all that. But the more I thought about it, it's like I think a big thing was that he had that experience of playing in New York. He played with an original six, and like the last 2 years or so he was with that team, he was essentially a coach who was able to lace him up and play as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I was thrown off at first because it was just so out of the blue. Like, I knew that he was a guy that wanted to coach at some point, but I figured he'd go the traditional route of like assistant first, and then have to work his way into a coaching job. But I think it just goes to show you just how well respected he is in this in this industry, that he was able to not only get a coaching job, but of the Montreal Canadiens as well.
Was Dad a big Habs fan? This was like a dream for him. I didn't know that he was a big Habs fan, but Marty grew up being a Habs fan.
Wow. I love it.
Growing up in Laval, just a stone's throw. So like, it's like this. I'm sure it's a dream come true. A guy that competitive, that motivated, that knowledgeable, that intelligent. It's got to work out. Matt, what did you think when you first heard? Did I tell you, or no? You found out
so
on your own.
What ended up happening is I was at work and I saw the rumors and I closed up, got home. I texted Rick before I left work. I said, "Oh, it looks, St. Louis is rumored to be the coach." Put my phone in my pocket, close up, do all my shit. Get home, take a seat, whip my phone out. Rick texts me, "St. Louis is the coach." I'm like, that was quick. I think it was the speed of everything that threw me off, but. Like I said, I love St. Louis as a player. I'm still trying to find my Tampa shirt that I have of his to kind of put up in the background. But yeah, I mean, I was stoked. I absolutely love St. Louis. One of my favorite players, and I say we'll give him a shot. We'll see how it goes. It was really just the speed that threw me off. I mean, that was lickety split.
When I first heard it, I thought, no, somebody's crazy. That doesn't make sense. Just in that, who'd have thought Marty St. Louis? That was not even on anywhere like in the ballpark of guys you're thinking of, right? I thought, no, but never once did I think I was talking to my buddy and I like, has he ever coached? That's the only, I didn't know if he did, but not once did I think that's ridiculous. I mean, it's a Hall of Famer, legendary guy. A guy who's had to fight through odds for everything he's done. Like he said, his attitude is just give me a chance. So I'm going to show you that I can do it, And I always respected the guy back in the day. When I did hockey fantasy pools, I draft him if I could, obviously. Guy got points all the time, This is just a guy, the more I thought about it, like you, I was just more excited about it. And then I saw the press conference. And man, if you weren't excited about Marty St. Louis being the new coach, man, that press conference really stoked me because I just like pretty much everything the guy said was right on. It's different, yet it's the right attitude to have, saying the right things. He's going to be good. I'm totally like Hugh said, I'm going to bet on him, not against him, because when you bet against him, you don't usually win.
Yeah. So, yeah. Quick story. I went to the can't remember when it was. I've been to the Hockey Hall of Fame a couple times, but the last time I went was probably like 10 years ago or something. And I was just in the trophy room and I was looking at the Art Ross and I was just going through all the names on it. And this was like probably like, it was kind of like towards the end of Marty's career and he was playing with the Rangers or whatever. And And I'm looking at the names, and then you get down to his prime, and it's just like he won it a few times. And then it's like, holy shit, man. Like, it's just hard to believe that he was like that good. Like, that he was just fucking
He was
like
this big.
Yeah, like unbelievable. A pioneer for his play style at that size in the modern game. Like, really, really impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Should we take a few how are you on time?
I'm good. Yeah, if you want to take some questions, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so we'll end with I'll try to find Matt. You two will go through them and see if you can pull out stuff too. So, guys, we're gonna get to.
You must have thought I was Newfoundland time, did you?
No, but okay, but the summer was an hour and a half. Oh, that's only Newfoundland.
Yeah.
You know what? I used to get this wrong with Jeff all the damn time.
Yeah,
damn it, that's right. You're Nova Scotia. What the hell was I thinking?
Yeah, Newfoundland's ahead of everybody in Canada.
All right, sorry about that. Anyways, you said it worked out.
No, it's all good. It worked out.
Yeah, I mean, and I was going to tell you 8 p.m. my time, and somebody just said, make it easier on him. Tell him his time. And I got it wrong. I got it wrong. Idiot. We're not gonna. I don't want to talk about Dom. I said it in my video about him. I don't want to kick a guy when he's down like that. And believe me, he's got to be down right now.
It was his dream job. It was his dream job. He always wanted it.
Yeah.
Luckily, he got the cup run. But yeah, I feel bad for the guy.
We talked enough about it. I don't really want to go over Dom. So I'm trying to find something. Jeez. Hank was pushed out by the young goalies. Oh, that's about Lundqvist. Well, I mean, yeah. You want to talk? That's it. With guys like Shesterkin, and how are you not gonna Lundqvist at his age? I mean, how are they not gonna push him out over there in New York? I know it's not Habs, but okay, no one's getting me.
Yeah, we definitely don't have anyone to push Carey Price out right now. God,
no. Although I do like Monty.
Yeah.
I like him. Yeah. I don't know, just something about I hope they hang on to him and he gets a shot too. Bob, okay, wait. You want to do with yours? I got this one from Bob Cannon. Matt Scotian, are you kidding? They have 8 wins this year. 8 wins. If that isn't a sign that a major rebuild is required, then I have no idea what is. But Matt, you said you could see how they could do a major rebuild. So why?
Oh, yeah. I totally, yeah, for sure. I definitely think it's in the cards. But the big thing is that, like, if Price is coming back and he's willing to stay in Montreal, I mean, we haven't seen the best of Dvorak yet. Suzuki hasn't had the best season. Who knows what Caulfield's going to become here in the short term? Toffoli, Hoffman, they've got so many. Like, the big thing for me is that the reason why I think that we could get away with another reset is because we don't have, like, especially with Petrie playing the way that he is right now, there is nobody on this D-core that can move the puck. Nobody. So if you give this team, I don't want to call out Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, but let's give them even just a true top pair puck mover. These forwards are going to start having a lot more success. You look at our box scores a lot of nights. It's the forwards with goal, assist, and assist. That's not how you need to. That's not how you win.
You got to have points from the back end. I said it going into the season. Like, where are the points coming from the back end? I don't see it.
So
we had a good conversation about that, yeah.
So if Petrie were to rebound, then you add another legitimate puck mover, and play a modern style of hockey with the forward group we have. I think they can get away with it with Price in the back. But as soon as you're talking about moving Petrie out and then Price maybe retiring, it is definitely full rebuild time.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this, and to build on that, you think that's the reason why they won't come out yet and say what they're doing? Because they got to know what's happening with Price before they can decide what they got to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I really do, because I think that's the key cog. I think once they have a definitive decision, then they can go with all right, either plan A, retool, plan B, rebuild. You know what I mean? I think they're I if I were them, I think they probably have those two plans being drawn up so they can, all right, when Price makes his decision, they can go right away and go, all right, plan B, we're doing this, something like that. But I think Price is the key cog right now.
Yeah.
Whether or not he can come back.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. It
Yeah.
does. Pierre-Luc says it's only a torn knee. Oh, go with that right now. I'll get the other one.
I was going to say, speaking of the decor, now, going into this season, I kind of felt like, Romanov was sort of a puck mover, but watching him this year, he definitely seems more of like a
in between,
more like a stay at home, definitely big hitting, kind of big body D man. But I think he's got a little bit of that puck moving game, but not, he's not like a bona fide puck mover.
No.
But I do love Romanov. I think he could be really good. Track record, decent young Russian prospect defenseman isn't good.
Oh, you're breaking up. Matt, your connection's no good. You're breaking the hell up for sure.
I'll jump in for him here.
Yeah,
I totally agree with what he first said there, because I was hoping Alex would come in and be more of a offensively dynamic player, but to me he reminds me of a smaller Joel Edmondson. He'll be your steady defensive guy. He can throw the big hits, but he can also throw a nasty tape-to-tape stretch pass through the neutral zone. He's not going to make these dynamic, pull you out of your seat offensive plays, but he can get the puck moving the other way. That's kind of how I'm starting to view him. I agree with you, Matt.
And those big hits, man. He's
It reminds me of Alexei Yemlin, man. I mean, he throws a hit. I mean, he throws a hit. Like, you're hit by Romanov when you hit by Romanov.
Oh, you're hit by Romanov. He's like 5th in the league in hits, Roman. It's pretty good. Wow. No.
I'm begging, please hold on to him. I don't want another straight chip situation.
Weber
broke my heart.
Weber lacks personal accomplishments since he never won the Norris or led the league in defensive scoring. But I don't know. Is there a measurement for leadership, though? Leadership, I don't know if there's a. I mean, leadership-wise.
I mean, Renaud, who is 100% right. He does lack the personal accomplishments, but I would say to that is he should have won a Norris when he was in Nashville, no doubt. I think there was a couple years where Lidstrom won it, and it probably should have went to Weber. It just sucks the way that they give the awards out to D. It doesn't really make sense, because they're a lot of the time they go who leads in points and also plays on the penalty kill here and there. But like the way that Weber can impact a game, especially when he was in his prime in Nashville, I mean, he should have won the Norris at least once. And I'm Nick Lidstrom is my favorite defenseman of all time. So like, I'm not knocking him. Like, the guy is a absolute legend, and he was until the day he retired. But Weber should have got one of them there. And that is what might hold him out of the Hall of Fame, though, which is a shame. The Cup final might help. If he had won the Cup, he would have made the Hall of Fame. But it's a shame. It's a real shame how a guy like that doesn't get the accomplishments he really did deserve.
I can't believe he never won a Norris. Like, you heard that in my voice. Like, when I read that, like, I can't even believe that, because I agree with you, Matt. I mean, he should have won one, maybe two in Nashville. Yeah, he was that good. Like, that to me, that is mind-boggling. Everyone was.
Yeah, it's a shame, really.
Somebody thinks that we should tank for you there, Matt. Tanking for Bedard should be the number one priority, in my opinion. There's no other realistic way to acquire that type of talent. I just want to say this on that. Bedard's next season. This season, we got an opportunity to get a really good, solid number one pick in Shane Wright. If it's in your hand this season, you got to try to grab it and worry about next season, right? I think if you're just let's get all the picks for next season. I think it's a mistake. What do you think about that? I want to get Bedard if we can, but
Yeah, if it were me, I mean, I would probably, if like in trade talks, I would be going for 2022 picks. Really, if you're gonna give me a first round pick, give me your one next year,
So
and hope that one of the ones you get is a team that has an off year, finds himself. I mean, I guess a lot of teams lotto protect their picks now, but I mean, we got to try and get Bedard. Holy crap. He may not be French, but he's got the French last name. It's my last name. That translates. It translates to fat belly in English.
That's what Bedard means? Really?
Yeah, 100%. Google it.
That's funny. That's funny. No, listen, I don't disagree. But listen, if they got an opportunity to get 2 or 3 first-round picks this offseason, so you get one for next year as well. But I think if you can get an opportunity to get right now, but you say you go, well, you know what? Let's go for the other one, but then you don't hit on the other one. Well, you've lost this, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of how I look at it, right?
Yeah. So. I mean, I'm starting to think we're getting very close to a full rebuild. And if that's the case, we're going to be at the bottom of the league next year anyway. So our own pick will probably be a lotto pick.
Right. Exactly. I think it's exactly right. And we all know finishing at the bottom of the league is not guaranteeing you that first pick. So you just have to get in that bottom 10 so that if you win, you move up to that. Right. It's nice though that, okay, at least you're guaranteed a third. I mean, that's nice, but,
Well, the other thing, too, is these 2 drafts are 2 of the deepest drafts that we've had in a while. So and I've touched on it before, if we're going to go on full rebuild mode, this is almost like the sweet spot, if you will. You know what I mean?
2 years in a row.
Kind of loaded drafts to pick from. You have I would say, a loaded kind of cabinet with prospects. I mean, this is the time to do it, really.
Yeah, I agree. So I think that, I don't expect Marty St. Louis is going to be instant. I don't think it's going to be instant, boom, we're contenders. I mean, I don't see that. And this year, forget it. They ain't making the playoffs no matter what. They got to win like almost every game now the rest of the way to get out, I think, of the bottom 10. So it's not, I mean, that's not happening. But, I hope they don't screw up their chance for next year to be there, Because I could see next year, like you said, they could be pretty decent next year.
Yeah.
They could be. If Marty St. Louis is a real motivational, like a good coach, X's and O's, all that, and really motivates these guys, this team could play well above their head next year.
Yeah.
I could see that. So
100%.
It's gonna be so much easier to judge once we get past the trade deadline and then July 1st. It's gonna be so much easier to figure out what this management group is thinking. Yeah, but I'm excited for it nonetheless. As much as I love watching the game on the ice, one of my favorite things is to watch management groups maneuver, make moves, make contract signings, make trades, I've always loved that aspect to it.
Yeah, no, me too. I like to see that. I mean, I grew up, even, back in the 70s, I mean, the Canadiens made moves. There were trades during the season. There were hockey trades then, not like they are today. In general, right? You don't see too many hockey trades per se today, right? Where it's 2 teams trading for a reason, not just to get rid of a contract or, to get a draft pick, Yeah, you don't see that too much anymore. It's too bad.
Do you want to show this? Thank you very much, Habs Guru.
Oh, I didn't see that at all.
Appreciate
Thank you. Habs Guru, thank you. Some Habs Guru hype in the room, some don't-know hype. And who's the next captain of the Habs? It's kind of a loaded question. That's not an easy one to answer.
It's a good question to debate around.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It kind of depends on who's here next year, because they said it's going to be next year. They're not announcing a captain until then. Nick Suzuki might be a little early, So I kind of think if they're not going to name Nick Suzuki next year, a guy like Toffoli, let's assuming, say, Gallagher gets moved, right? A guy like Toffoli, 2 years left on the contract. It's a nice bridge because you got to figure whoever they're naming captain, they're not going to take the captaincy away from the guy to give it to Nick Suzuki and then the guy's still here on the team, right? It's not going to work like that. So maybe a guy that you figured is going to be here for a couple of years, maybe not beyond that, that is a leader type. I don't know.
Joel Edmondson.
I'd name him, and I've said that. Joel Edmondson is a great candidate for this.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with that.
And if Gallagher's sticking around, I don't think he'd be too pleased with that.
No, I agree. It's got to be Gallagher, I think, if he sticks around.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I definitely think, I have no doubt in my mind Gallagher can handle it, and I think he'd be a great choice. But I do like the idea Edmondson. I like the idea to full. Like, there's so many good options.
Yeah.
What do you think about this though with Gallagher? He's got such a he doesn't have a great relationship with the refs. Is that a good thing for a captain, or does it work maybe against the captain though? That's my only worry with Gallagher.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. Part of me wonders like how much of that is his fault. Like, he's not a dirty player.
No, it's not.
He just works hard.
I agree, but it doesn't matter that is there. They tell him to F off all the time. It's like, they do nothing. He gets punched around, gloves in the face. Nothing happens. No matter what they do to Gallagher in front of the net, refs don't.
He's been cross-checked in the face twice, and he has 2 penalty minutes against, none for. How the fuck does that make sense?
Yeah, I wonder if that doesn't work against him. That's my only.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. It's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of my only concern. But, like you said, I think Edmondson is a name that pops into my head. And, I mean, as far as, like, the alternates go, too, another – and I kind of wanted to touch on this earlier when we were talking about kind of vets to keep around. But, like, a guy like Paul Byron, I mean, he's been an alternate for how long now? And I think he's a really good leader. Especially on the ice, I think he works hard. I think he's also like a good communicator. He's just another one of those vets that I think, his contract is maybe a smidge high, but I think he's a guy that I would keep around just for that leadership quality.
I could see Byron getting it, and it makes that good. He would be one of those guys that would be around probably long enough for that transition into Nick Suzuki if that's who gets it. I mean, it's obvious they're grooming him for that. Whether he ends up with it or not, I don't know. But, I mean, I'm kind of thinking, So, Paul Byron would be a good one.
Love that call out. I think he could handle it, no doubt, as well. He bleeds the color. He's been a stand-up leader for this team for a long time. That's a great call out. Yeah. Another one might be Josh Anderson.
Yeah.
I like his effort out on the ice. He's one of those guys that kind of lead by example out on the ice.
You see what he said the other day about playing for the logo? Not just playing for the name on the back, and he was embarrassed about their play. Like, he said the right things. There's some good leaders. That's why when I brought up the point what St. Louis said about there's different kinds of leaders, right? So I think the captain and the 2As are going to be these kind of leaders, one of each. I kind of see that in his, you know what I mean? So I can see him keeping around guy. Although Nick Suzuki is going to keep the A's, so that's one thing.
Yeah.
What do you think?
To me, Nick Suzuki is the eventual long-term captain.
Yeah, down the road. Yeah. They might.
I don't want to see him hindered by it. At such a young age.
That's my worry for him if they give it to him next year. You don't maybe that he doesn't need that right now. But I like the guy. I like so many of the players here. If they do a rebuild, I'm going to be as sad as anybody for some of these guys having to go, but you want a winning team, changes have to be made. There's just that, that's the business part of it. All right. I think, I think we'll call it here. I don't know where to go, but I had fun.
Yeah, that was great.
Thanks, Matt. I really appreciate. And by the way, Matt approached me to do this, so I really appreciate that that you wanted to do that with us. Had a great time. This was a lot of fun. I apologize.
Let me say, while I've been away dealing with the kids and kind of like stepping back from my channel, I've been observing from a distance, watching you guys grind away. I have a lot of respect for what you guys are doing, staying consistent. So keep
Toronto.
at it. You guys are awesome, and
Appreciate that a lot, man.
I'll always support you. So anytime you want me to jump
Appreciate
on,
that.
I'll do my best to come in and do that.
I appreciate that, and it's been
Seriously,
a
really
grind.
appreciate that, man.
It's been a grind. Believe me, it ain't
Oh, yeah.
easy when you know the game's just going to be so bad, and you gotta do it. Because I know there are people like Habs Guru. I know he's talked to me about it. He kind of relies on having that, for his he drives a lot back home
Right.
to work and stuff. I get that, I get that, and when it's not there, it's like, what else do you do? So I try to be consistent because of that. When I first started, I was not, but now, yeah, I mean, it's all in that. That's the whole name of the game, kind of. All right, so Matt, thanks. I appreciate it, and listen, full recovery. I hope everything. I know it's going good so far, but you caught like I wasn't when you first told me that COVID. Does he have COVID? It's like I wasn't sure with it. Yeah, but I think at some point we're freaking all gonna get it.
Right? I have no idea where I got it from, and I'm pretty safe. So it's like
that's the thing with it, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
You don't know you got it sometimes, and you don't know where you got it from. So yeah, it's a bit. But get vaccinated, and then guess what? You're probably not going to die from it, and that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, yeah, thanks.
Absolutely, thanks for being here, Matt.
And we'll be in touch to do. And if you ever need me for anything, don't hesitate. I'm always around.
Seriously.
I'm happy to reciprocate. You're the bigger channel. I don't know how much me being there is a reciprocation, but anytime if you ever need me, I'm there, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I'll get you on mine here sometime too. I gotta start doing more things like this and having discussions, right? So I would love to have you guys on, and it was nice to meet you, Matt, and good to see you again.
Hey,
all right, man.
I've been waiting for this. Seriously, it's so cool to actually get to sit down and talk about our favorite team.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so we're gonna take off here. So thanks everybody for watching. Really, really appreciate that. We'll be back for the game. Both games on the weekend. I'm there. Hopefully you'll check that out. Stay safe till next time. Peace out, y'all. And I'll see you then. Bye, everybody.